What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So we at this point I think are 8 days away from E3 2017, which is awesome to see. It's getting really close now, and I want you to have a look at these following couple of pictures. Before I do that, actually, let me really quickly explain to you, for those who still don't really understand it. Of course, what we personally are the most excited about E3 is the press conferences. You know, the moment where we're gonna see the new trailers and gameplay reveals and games getting announced by all of these companies that we're a big fan of. But at the same time, for the journalists that are actually going to the E3 convention itself, what is most important is actually being on the show floor, where they're gonna be able to have, you know, hands-on time with all of the, or at least with some of the, if not most of the games that have been, or that have been pretty much announced at the show already before that. So, you know, once again, for us the press conferences are important, but E3 itself really is about that hands-on experience for the journalists. Now, the pictures that I wanted to show you, let's first of all have a really quick look at the picture of the complete show floor pretty much plan of last year, 2016. What you see there is that, like, the three massive companies, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, all three of them have, you know, pretty much like equal kind of space on the show itself, right? Like they have pretty much, yeah, a very similar, I guess, quantity of booth space in general. Now, if we actually take a look at the picture for this year, which has very recently gotten revealed a couple of days ago, we see something very, very interesting. The first thing is that Sony's booth space has been expanded even more. They seem to by far now be the biggest company at the show floor with an insane amount of you know, of space. Nintendo is still doing very well, which is good to see, because hopefully we're gonna get a lot of Nintendo Switch games actually being announced. We're gonna see more of Mario, of course, and these other games that have already been announced, but I hope that we're simply gonna see a massive lineup of Nintendo Switch games at the same time. But then if we actually look at Microsoft, I think that's really where the most interesting thing is going on, because we see that they have not only swapped kind of like the building that they're in, or the part of the building. You pretty much have like the West Hall, the South Hall. I think Microsoft is like in the other one of Sony and Nintendo. Not only that, their booth space has been significantly reduced. Like, if you look at the picture, you'll see how that kind of like compares to Sony and Nintendo. It's quite significant, like I said. And what does this say? Well, it doesn't necessarily have to say too much, right? I mean, Microsoft could simply still have a lot of games to show, but at the same time, you would think that if you have lots to show and lots for people to get their hands on, then of course you will need lots of booth space. And once again, looking back at previous years, Microsoft has always had that. Now, many of us have had these concerns already about Microsoft, right? Like, this is the year of the Scorpio, but at the same time, there haven't really been many games that Microsoft has announced in recent times that are actually going to be coming up. We don't know really what that lineup is going to look like, and many of us are wondering if they can actually come with a lineup that will really surprise us. But at the same time, I myself didn't really have lots of hope in that. Now, this certainly does not make the hope any sort of like bigger, I guess, because yeah, this is a pretty bad sign if you'd ask me. Now, I would of course like to know your thoughts about this. Like I said, this is really the year where I personally thought Microsoft needs to shine, right? This is the year where the Scorpio is going to come out, where they're going to be able to hopefully somewhat make their comeback. And I was just personally really hoping that we would see actually a lot of games being announced on that front. But once again, if we look at it this way, then it's quite alarming actually to see how their booth space compares to Sony and Nintendo, which isn't a really good sign in itself, but at the same time it could simply be about the fact that it simply costs a lot. But then again, it's Microsoft we're talking about, right? Like, this is a company with lots of money. They should perfectly be able to afford to do that, and this only means that from the press they're gonna get less and less attention now, because there is so much to cover at Sony's and Nintendo's booths, while at the same time Microsoft doesn't really have that much apparently. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts about you know, this whole thing in at E3 2017. Does this concern you in any way? What do you personally expect from Microsoft? And then with that being said, thanks a lot for watching. Look forward to a lot more E3 videos actually coming up in the next, of course, week, leading up all the way until the actual show and press conferences, which is going to be super awesome. So like I said, 8 more days left. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a quick like to help support my channel, and then for now, thanks a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.